Welcome to the Circle of Grace One. I am the host, Chief Principal Teacher and Founder, as well as the Bishop, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. Today's date is Monday, August the 4th, 2014. The Circle of Grace One was founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. It gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute on February the 7th, 2009, and I'm here presenting it online. I've been doing it like this since November of 2008. I was on various other, I'll say, platforms, and I came on to Ustream TV around the spring of 2009. And then I took a little time off and tried out some other platforms, and I'm back again as of, I believe, last year. So this is a golden opportunity to share the information of the teachings of the Circle of Grace One, and sometimes many other things that come into play here. Sometimes I'll bring information on the tarot. Other times I'll bring information about crystals and gemstones and their uses. I'll talk about house cleansing, which is something I'm going to talk about today. Um, I'm going to also bring out numerology. I am a numerologist. I've been delving into numerology since July of 1974, and I've done over 30, 40,000 charts in all kinds of formats, whether they're 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year formats, or there have been just maybe people needed to have information on a designated point in their life. Uh, Maybe what was going on for the week, or they needed to know something about a relationship or a business that they're involved in, or just coworkers and family members. So I've done numerous types of numerology reporting, as I'm going to call it. I also am a person that studies meditation. I've been a meditation practitioner since my college days, and that's back in the 70s. I was a Tai Chi practitioner back then, and I still am. I still do Tai Chi for myself. I've also taught it to numerous people. My youngest student in Tai Chi is about 8 years old, and my oldest student in Tai Chi is up in their 70s. So I've been able to introduce Tai Chi to people in a different way. I'm not a classical stylist. I started out that way in college and after college, and then in 1988, I had a visitation in the woods while practicing my Tai Chi and finalized my energy a little more and started to open up myself to nature more, and then was guided in other ways. So I began, let's say, to be a soloist where nature began to teach me, the universe began to teach me. And I've been in front of certain masters. I'm not going to give their names out, certain grand masters where I expressed my experiences to them, and they were able to confirm for me that I'm on the right path for myself. And so we all have to find a path that works for ourselves, and this is highly important. I do my Tai Chi in more ways than one. Sometimes physically every day, sometimes I go through the motions in my mind, in my head every day. Other times I'm just seated in meditation and I flow through a posture, and I can feel what that posture is doing for me. So there are many different ways to allow people to experience. I have about 40, 45 different subject matters, and that's why I have also an institute which is called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance. So I like to say that the Circle of Grace One is the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance. It is a spiritual and metaphysical ministry, and it has its own forms of classes. Many people get grandfathered in because many people already have a lot of disciplines that they do right now. But what I'm in the process of doing with that is that I'm shifting the program around. It is a five-tiered, five-level program, and it usually takes about 3 years to complete. But I've decided to make some changes, and in the past, actually the past 3 years since I've been here, I've been making some changes. I've actually put the fifth level out uh, right after the second level. So there's many different things I've had to do with it since I've have relocated here to the Southwest. It all began on Long Island, but New York, but it's all transforming itself here in the last 3 years. It has greatly changed. In fact, in the last 4 years, since about 2008, 2009, I've made a lot of changes within how the teachings are being taught through the Institute. And so the biggest event out here is known as an evening with Brother Francis, which is a meditation journey that a group of people take with me. And the interesting factor is I'm taking the journey as well, and I'm able to stay plugged into the journey, the energy of it, bring everybody out, and people get what I call a spot reading. I just go around and spend a minute or two with each person, and sometimes there's channeled information that comes through for the group as a whole. There is other things that take place as well energetically there. So this is a way to get information out to people. I'm also an artist, and I like doing art. I might design my works on the computer, and people always ask me, well, do you use Photoshop? And I don't use any of that. I just take the mouse and I pick a color and I have a design in my mind in meditation, and I start to work it out. Other times I use an iPad, and that's another way I work it out. And I do this because this opens me up to see vivid color and vivid design. So then I'm able to take my digital paintings, as I refer to them as, and they all come out in the 8 by 10 size. I take my digital paintings, and from there I take some of them and I turn them into acrylic paintings. Now what's about to happen is I'm turning some new work that I've been taking my time working on, and they will be start off as pencil drawings, colorful drawings with colored pens, as well as and pencil, as well as colored marker pens. There will be work done in crepas if necessary. And then what happens is the work will carry itself further into paintings, and there will be there's at least a basic level of 12, basic number of 12 paintings. And from that, I'm not going to describe it any more than that because I don't want to put too much information out because I'm still channeling. And a lot of this information comes to me in dreams and meditation state. Then I move it also into from paintings. From that, it will go into acrylic paintings. After that, it's going to go into another medium. And this is something that a lot of people will be able to get a lot of information out of. So that was my phone going off, and we're going to do things in where this is being recorded. Hopefully, in a couple of months, this is going to look completely different behind me, and a lot of things are going to look a little bit more professional in status and a little more healing in status for all of you when you watch me come across with these programs, especially next year. Hopefully, before the end of the year, maybe by October, I'll have a nice setting set up here, and the mirrors here will reflect that. You're going to see some beautiful colors and artwork behind me and a lot of crystals out here. Right now they're just sitting, waiting, and humming. So today's program, I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about creating balance in our lives. Balance is essential, whether you are a spiritual or a metaphysical practitioner or a shaman, or you're a musician or an artist, or you're in the acting and filmmaking, or you're just somebody that has the important regular day jobs or evening jobs. Balance is essential. And we have to do things to create better harmony within ourselves first. So you're the first person in which this opportunity is being presented. You first. And as you begin to work on creating a sense of balance for yourself, then what will happen is you can move to the next level, which then you could extend that energy to others, to family members, to loved ones who are close to you, to relatives, to your neighbors, to your friends, to your coworkers, even out into your neighborhood, and further than that if you like. The whole idea is to create the balance, recreate and create the balance with yourself. So tonight is we're hoping will be a shorter program. It's very warm here and warm outside, so I'm not going to spend too much time. I have a little bit of energized water sitting amongst my crystals here on my desk, and then some nice uh, vinegar, apple cider vinegar in it to give it a nice flavor to itself. Well, what I want to talk about again is balance. Well, how can we create balance? Well, first of all, you want to create a sense, if you can, on the physical plateau, balance. You want to have an orderly spot. Now, I'm just like everybody else. Sometimes I'm very orderly, and sometimes I'm not. I have a lot of things around. But things change. And as you begin to change energetically, you can feel the pull on the inside happening. You can feel the pull happening on the outside of you. So you have to maintain a sense of inner balance, calmness, a sense of quietness within yourself. Silence has to be taken on. You have to find that center of being within your heart center, your heart chakra, where there is a state of peace and harmony and silence. You can meditate every day and every moment of the day. Sometimes people come out of their meditation and still get hyper or still can get disturbed by something going on outside of themselves, just immediately outside of themselves. Because we're all connected here. We all have a life on this earth where we find ourselves, where we decide to be, and we're interacting with different people. So sometimes other people's energy can get within your space, get within your emotional well-being, your mental and your physical, therefore already interacting with you spiritually. So we in which we could press forward in an easy manner, roll forward with our lives, where we are having a sense of better well-being, and balance is the key. Harmony is the key, which brings peace. We have to harmonize ourselves. So we do whatever we can that is necessary to create that inner well-being on the emotional level, the mental level, which then is the are the two layers, the two levels between the spiritual plateau within yourself and the physical material plateau that you are expressing and living in, is your emotional and your mental. And you've got to create a balance on both of those plateaus so that you could clearly receive and clearly give out energy, giving out the energy from the physical side of you, interacting with other people, interacting with your community, your surrounding. So, what are some of the ways? We're going to keep this short. What are some of the ways in which balance can be reestablished or maintained or built from the inside out? Well, one of the things is allowing yourself to have proper exercise, proper rest for yourself, finding out what that is for you. It goes beyond hygiene, because you're in areas where there's so much pollution going on. You may have to bathe or shower every day. You're gonna have to do something to eradicate stuff from building up on your body. You have to change the way you eat. Sometimes you can't eat the same way over and over and over. Now we experience that sometimes when we go from our youth, like from being the child, the baby, and then pre-adolescent, adolescent, the teenage years. Then there's college, if you go to college or not. And you get in your adult stages. Your eating habits may change depending on where you live and the people that are around you and how you feel about yourself, for sure. So you have to change the way you consume food, and you want to try to bring food into the body that helps the body rather than work against the body. We all like to have sweets and ice cream and cake and pie and sugary things and syrupy things. We all want to like populate our coffee with a lot of honey and sugar and guava and you name it. But we have to maintain that as well. We have to understand that the foods that we take into our body, and I'm not an expert at this is from my own experience over the years, creates a certain amount of sugars, creates a certain amount of other things in the body that your physical body needs. So you don't need to, as I call it, overpopulate your body with a lot of things that the body gains from certain foods. So this is why we find all of ourselves gradually moving away from processed foods, canned foods, and getting into the foods that you can gain from the supermarket that are right there that you can pick. Okay, but even when you bring the vegetables and the fruits home, you still got to clean them off. Why they may have certain pesticides on them. You don't know what's on them, so you got to get all of that off as much as you can, and hopefully have something that you can use to rinse off your vegetables and rinse off your fruits, so then you can better consume them. We have to find out what the body is comfortable taking in and digesting. Then there's such things as they call enzymes that you want to take before your meal or after, which breaks down the fat, the extra fat in the system, so that you're not overly expanding in that area of your life. So, after while you're working on how you take in food, maybe is drinking smoothies, better yet is doing a lot of juicing. Then there's also the exercise. Everybody has a certain exercise regimen that is good for them. If you can ever study the blood type, there's four systems of blood type. You can get a book by Dr. Peter Adamo, and it's called Eat Four with the number four, your blood type. And he talks about the four different blood types, and he really gets into it scientifically. I'm going to call it a positive and a negative. And there's certain blood types that can consume certain foods and some that cannot, and certain things you shouldn't eat. And he tells you basically from A to Z, fruits and vegetables, meats, poultries, and seafood, what you can have and what you shouldn't have. And this is all researched out. So there's many different websites that you can go to that you can get that clear within yourself, rather than going through a trial and error to try to figure out what is good for you. We also know through our studies, kidney cleansing and liver cleansing is good. But first of all, cleaning out the colon is good. That's equal. Again, I'm not an expert. It's just from experience what I've gained from my friends and family members that are into better eating, and not that I wasn't, because I had tried it off and on from my back in the days in my 20s when I was a college student. Back then, I was experimenting with herbs, not getting high, but learning how to drink what dandelion tea, herbal tea was good for, what aloe powder was good for, what strawberry tea, raspberry tea, hibiscus tea, um, red zinger, you name it, lemons, all these kind of peppermint teas, what all of that was really good for. So I was back then exploring, trying to figure it out. It wasn't just having a salad. It was, but it didn't know. Well, no one knew that you had to clean that colon out. Then in the '70s, you find out you got to clean the colon out. You got to get that gunk out of your pipes so that the body can better play with the nutrients as they flow through. Then people learned later in the '80s, not only had to clear the colon, you had to start working on cleaning out the liver and cleaning out the kidneys and the bladder and the spleen all these things though came with time, listening to various people and being around various people. And sometimes many of my friends, went through health crises before they learned that they had to get away from certain things. Period. So I've seen a lot of people go through stuff, and then finally I had was struggling with my weight at two different times between 2004, I'm going to say 2003, all the way up to 2011. Well, I say 2009. My weight was almost 300 pounds. I had gotten it down to a holistic doctor from 272 pounds down to, in 6 months, from a holistic doctor out in New Jersey, out in Montclair, New Jersey, back from November of 2007 to April 2008. He had got me down from 272 pounds all the way down to 230 pounds. Okay, so it took a little while to create the opportunity to move things into a better state. So what happened then was this opportunity to experiencing the gaining of weight again. And as I began to regain this weight, and the stress that I was taking on, even though I was doing the meditation and doing the Tai Chi and doing the walking and doing the jogging and trying to eat better, just wasn't getting through. Then I met someone else in my life who came through, and I call her my sister. And she was someone who had spent 5 years of turning her life around health wise, and I saw that she wasn't going backwards, she was moving forward. So I started trying some of the things that she would suggest to me. And she hasn't been incorrect yet. She does a lot of research, so I used some of the things that she used, methods, and got out there and started to exercise again and started using the enzyme, digestive enzymes, and started doing more things. And guess what? The balance started to come back. So that second time when I was up to 298 pounds, after meeting her, I was almost there at 300 pounds, but took my time. Got that weight, lost 30 pounds, got it down to 268. By the time I arrived here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I was 264 pounds. From November of 2011, when I arrived here, by the time I got into the springtime, right after Mother's Day, I hadn't realized that I had dropped all the way down to 200 pounds. I kind of shocked myself. I didn't believe I was there, and I got overly excited. I got stressed from losing weight, and I went back up to about 237. Then I caught myself, and I said, I can't do that. I can't allow my weight to go up. I can't do anything where I'm going to allow it to get higher and higher and higher. And here I'm 6,200 feet altitude above sea level, so I had help. So I started to take my time. And I could say from 2012, eventually in 2013, my weight had come down to, at that point, 230 pounds, 228 pounds. 1 year later, May 20th, 2013, my weight came down to 228 pounds. Why? Because I had developed an exercise program. Now, my sister had given me one where I just get out, walk, and jog, and then do crunches. But what I started to do was I started to target it more. So I said, well, I don't need to spend an hour or 45 minutes outside. What I need to do is focalize it down to 35 minutes. That means from the time I left here, I had to be jogging or jogging faster. So I was jogging and walking and jogging and walking. Then I spoke to one of my nephews, my nephew back east, and he's a personal trainer. And he explained to me about doing wind sprints. And I started to incorporate 6 to 8 wind sprints, 30-second wind sprints, meaning run as fast as I can without straining, but run faster than that slow jogging that I was doing. And eventually 5 days a week of doing that in the morning, over 35 minutes with walking and jogging and those sprints. After a while, I had another breakthrough. I dropped 3 pounds. I went down to 225. We went away on a vacation this year up to northern part of New Mexico. I was 228 pounds when I left on July the 12th. When I returned on July the 15th, I happened to weigh myself, and I was down to 222 pounds. Now, the weight has gone back up again. We were a higher altitude. We were like 8,400 plus feet altitude, so I gained more altitude of 2,400 feet extra. So I didn't have this feeling of eating. I didn't need to overeat. We were eating even better. I was brought salads and fruits, you name it, so I wasn't overeating on my vacation. Then able to bring that energy down, got that energy down further, and guess what happened? Well, this is what happened. Let me wipe the sweat. I'm able to better monitor myself now. I can walk down a supermarket with it's loaded with cookies and candies. Don't get excited. I can walk with his cans of soda and fruit juice drinks. Don't get excited. Doesn't faze me. I know what I need in my system when I need it. I can go out to eat and never overeat at a buffet. Why? Because I don't pile it on anymore. I take small scoops of the spoon and put a sample of a little bit on, and I go out, put a little something in the middle so it's like a ring, you see. And when I have finished eating, I wait a little bit. I go have a little bit more. I wait. Then I go have a dessert, whatever I choose to have. I have a little slice of cake or pie and a little ice cream on top. and a cup of coffee, I'm fine. And here's another thing. I'm drinking better coffee, and when I'm not drinking the type of coffee that I like to drink, if I drink regular coffee, I don't put sugar in it. So I've cut out sugar in coffee. The next thing I've done is I've taken my breads. Now, I never was a big fan of white bread, but I eat whole wheat. But whole wheat can make you contain, right? Because of the yeast. So what I do now is I toast my bread. And I toast everything. A bagel, whole wheat bagels, I toast them. 7 grain breads, I toast them. Why? Because that cuts out a lot of the yeast buildup in your body if you toast the bread. So these are things that I learned for myself. So that's a way of creating balance through what you eat and exercise. But there's more than what you consume and exercise. What kind of TV programs do you watch? What kind of books do you read? What kind of people are you around you? That's even better. You can watch anything you want on TV. It can be the goriest thing and not be affected by it. But the people that are around you, are they positive thinking people? So I make sure I'm always around positive people, and positive people are getting around me. This is important. And if I'm around people who do a lot of complaining, I don't judge them. I work very hard not to judge people. Because I remember when I was there too complaining, you see. And I changed my life around. What's another way of changing, creating balance? Well, another way of creating balance is energetically moving energy around where you live. Like I saged in here today. That helped move the energy. I saged, throughout the house where I'm staying at. Sage the energy. Why? You gotta change energy. You gotta take stale energy out and raise it up with higher energy. That helps add and lend to balance. So here we talk about food and exercise. We talk about changing your environment around. We talk about raising the vibration. We talk about laughing. Laughing is good for the soul. To be able to laugh, you create a sense of greater peace and harmony for yourself. But what's another way in which you can do this for balance? Because now you want to balance your life with people, more positive thinking people. You want to wear different clothes, different colored clothes. Out here is patterned clothes and colors, which is great for me because back east I used to wear a lot of dark colors all the time. I don't do that anymore. I got now, yeah, say wear black, it makes you look thinner. But wearing black can actually make you feel depressed sometimes because it's an incoming color. It's a very magnetic color. And it absorbs a lot of things from the outside. So what I began doing now is making sure that if I'm going to wear dark colors, I break it up with patterns. So I got a black hat on with a little gold band. Break up the dark color. There's nothing wrong with wearing black and darker shades, but you need to break the color up. That's essential. And then the same thing, you don't wear too many bright colors either. You need to break them down. You need to create a balance. One way of creating a balance is finding the center of your well-being. This is where meditation comes in. Or those of you that practice martial arts or do cardio exercises like boxing and kickboxing. You still got to find your center being to create balance. Yes? So you want to, through your physical exercise, through your meditation, through your yoga exercises, through your deep breathing or your pranic exercises, you want to maintain qigong exercises. You want to maintain inner balance because from you move from the inside out. So if you're quieter on the inside, you'll be quieter on the outside. Your environment will be quieter. But if you're overly active on the inside, it'll just be all over the place outside of you. Here's another thing. Take the energy of the space in your house and change it. House clean. Not just physically take ammonia and all this other stuff and scrub floors when you have to or vacuum. But even if you vacuum, you have a rug. This is something I just realized the other day watching a program. Person said those of you that are allergic to dust in your homes, wear a dust mask, like a painter's mask over your nose and your mouth. So when you're vacuuming or sweeping, that excessive particles you're not inhaling into your system. You know, when you use a vacuum cleaner, you got vents in your vacuum cleaner. If you can smell the engine of your vacuum cleaner getting warm, you're also smelling dust and re-inhaling that in your system. So wear a painter's mask over your nose and your mouth so you're not inhaling germs as you're sweeping and as you're moving things around, as well as you're vacuuming in your house, especially when you have rugs. Now, here's another thing. I mentioned earlier to sage. Saging is very important. Using incense to break down stagnated energy, absorb it, and transform it into something that is positive. And while you're using the sage and sweetgrass, or sage and juniper, or sage and what is this other one called, copal resin incense or frankincense, as you're using that energy, those tools, keep your mind on the vibration of peace. Not that you're attracting peace, but you are peace. Peace is already present. And when you do that, you will help change the vibration. And this is a way of creating balance. You have crystals in your home. You can spread crystals out. But likewise, dust collects on everything. You got to cleanse your gemstones. Sage them. Certain ones you can't put in water, like malachite. Don't put it in water. Magnetite, definitely don't put in water because that's a metal. Hematite, don't put that one in water either. Selenite should not be in water. It has a tendency to absorb water, and sometimes it takes a little while for it to dry out. So stones that are in the quartz family and certain other stones or gems can be placed in water, or you can just sage them or dust them, or clean them off with a cleaning rag, a nice chamois cloth. Something like selenite breaks off and flex, you see, so you can kind of destroy it almost. So you want to change the vibration. Maybe you'll have flowers where you are, but crystals work well to change and raise the vibration, along with incense such as the sage and cedar incense or frankincense, gum incense, gum resin, or copal. All these things raise the vibration so you can have a better, prosperous, and more abundant life for yourself. Well, I'm going to stop right there. This was about balance, mainly about balance. Because if you can create a physical balance for yourself, the next you'll maintain emotional wellness for yourself and mental wellness where you're not worried all the time. Try not to worry. Don't worry about how you pay your bills. Don't worry about how you pay your mortgage, car note. Don't worry about that. What you want to focus on is use your all of that creative energy of thought. Put the intention out there for harmony and peace, unconditional love. Be more compassionate. Then what you find is that your life begins to change. Your words are energetic. Your words are magnetic. Your emotions are magnetic. And they begin to draw onto you experiences of what you think about all the time. So I'm going to stop right there. May you have a blessed week. I'll be back certainly next Monday, sometime between 5 and 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, with another program for the Circle Grace One. Thank you so much for being supportive. And if you want to contact me, you can always reach me on my Skype number, 973-685-5978. That's 973-685-5978. That's connected right here to my laptop. Or you can call my other number, which is 505-717-4722, and that's connected right here to my laptop. That's a prayer and meditational request line. So you're going to listen to a 2-minute decree on there, all-purpose decree, and then leave your message at 505-717-4722. I have 3 email addresses. You could email me at IAM, the letters IAM lowercase, dot, circle of grace with the number 1 at the end, figure number 1, at yahoo.com, or IAM dot circle of grace 1 at gmail.com, or Bishop Francis, BISHOPFRANCIS, at circle of grace with the number 1 at the end.net. Thank you so much for tuning into this short program called Balance. It is Monday, 8/4/2014, and we're signing off with a program that was under 40 minutes. Take care. Thank you for supporting me. And until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon.